Hi, Nick Purler here, driving in the dark. You don't need to look anyway, just listen. This is the power of doing something every day for your goals. I learned this years ago. I've had other videos on this topic. Learned from a Russian coach, actually a Soviet coach back in the day when I was in middle school. He was my private coach for a while. He kind of adopted my brother and I because he liked us because of our drive and dedication and commitment in the practice room. He liked us, so it was very cool attracting a man like this with his knowledge. He was a certified coach in the Soviet wrestling system. He said, do something every day for your wrestling. So the whole philosophy is this, success leads to more success. So let's say that you've never worked out before. Maybe you're an adult or it's been years, and you get up tomorrow at 5:30 a.m. and you run 4 miles, and then you lift weights for 45 minutes. I mean, what's the odds of you doing that the next day? Probably nothing. But let's say you get up tomorrow and you eat something a little bit more healthy, and all you do is you go to work and you park on the far side of the parking lot, and you walk in the doors and you take the steps up 3 flights of stairs to go to your office. See, now you have had success. You have knocked over the first domino, and you're going to feel good about yourself. It wasn't even that hard. It feels good. And you say, I can do this again tomorrow. And that's all you're going to require yourself to do, is just that. And then who knows, you're going to be like, you know what? These other ladies, they pack their lunch and maybe they walk the mall or something during lunch break. I'm going to join them. Well, see now, more success has happened. So as an athlete, when you set giant goals, my gym, I want to get a mural. I'm trying to get some murals. We have a lot of wall space, and I just basically ran out of money building this building. So in time, I will be able to afford to dump money into this. But I'm going to get a big mural of Mount Everest. It's very cool. There was a story I read years ago about, something about Mount Everest, and a lady asked a guy, did you really think you were going to climb that or something? He's like, something sarcastic. He said, no, I was just walking. I just kind of was walking, and I just ran into this big mountain, and I just started climbing up the mountain. Something sarcastic. It was funny, but he was basically saying that, well, yes, I planned on accomplishing it. I planned on having success. I trained for this. I mapped out a route. I knew what I had to do every day. I had my meals planned. I had my oxygen or whatever. I mean, it was like a stupid question, right? But still, it's interesting that it still takes the first step. Years ago, I was hunting in British Columbia, and it was a 4-hour climb. It started at 4 a.m. No, I'm lying. 3 hours and 15 minutes. At 4 a.m. we started. At 7:15 we got to the top of the mountain. And it was straight up. The incline in British Columbia is brutal. And my legs were fried. I had to do that 3 mornings in a row. Then you get to the top and you have so much sweat, even though you're like in a t-shirt. And there's 14 inches of snow. And you're climbing 4-wheel drive, hands and feet up the mountain because it's so steep. You can literally reach out in front of your nose and touch the mountain. It's that steep. And I was just like, I'm just going to put one foot in front of the other. And that's all I focused on. And you kind of get in a zone, right? And then you get to the top and you go hide behind a Christmas tree and you strip down naked and you get into some warm clothes and you're up there all day trying to, you're hunting big mule deer. I actually got one the 3rd year. But, it reminded me of wrestling, right? I just get on the bike. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to start pedaling, right? You climb Mount Everest. You just start climbing, right? Sure, you have a plan, but you put one foot in front of the other. And so, I had this conversation with some of my wrestlers and their parents about just this. I kind of get mad at them because I'm like, I just sometimes don't understand. Now, we have an academy too. We have our regular academy, our elite program. They're hardcore. Some of these rooms have over 30 state finalists in them. I mean, it's a freak show, right? Out of 4 classes in the state of Missouri in 2019, 24% of the state finals matches had at least one of my Wrestling Academy students in it. 1 out of every 4 finals matches. So, I mean, they're good, right? I'm talking about those kids. Sure, the first year JV kid, he's in my regular program. I mean, he's just trying to tread water and figure it out. Or she. My little 9-year-olds or 8-year-olds, I mean, who cares? They're kids, right? Let's just wrestle once a week. But the more hardcore kids who act like they want to wrestle on ESPN one day for the big-time Big Ten colleges or whatever, I mean, I give them like these assignments, you know? Like, I will not evaluate your wrestling match unless you evaluate it first. You bring me a piece of paper showing me, you know, our evaluation process. Those of you who have my book, it's in there, right? You probably are familiar. Right for it. This is how you evaluate a video. It might even be on our Instagram too. You should check us out on @Purler Wrestling, Facebook @Purler Wrestling, Twitter @Purler Wrestling, Instagram @Purler Wrestling. So check us out there. There's tons of great advice there as well. But this is how you evaluate a wrestling match. You make 4 columns. How did I score? How did I almost score? How did my opponents score? How did my opponent almost score? And now you have a plan of attack. And I tell these kids, you show me that you, and we also like to have them rank themselves on a 1 to 5. How were you feeling physically before the match? On a scale of 1 to 5, how are you feeling emotionally? On a scale of 1 to 5, how would you feel as far as your nerves and anxiety and your confidence level and, you know, dealing with, do you have good thoughts? I like to evaluate that too, because if they choked, I don't even want to watch the match. It's a stupid waste of time. I'm not going to look for a stupid wrestling move they could have done differently if they just choked and laid an egg, right? So anyway, I'm like, you evaluate the match. And some of the requests upon my time, and I do this for free, right? Oh, no longer do I have all these videos to watch because I put it on them. And that kind of pisses me off, right? And I'm like, dude, you should watch your wrestling match. Watch it. That's your something for that day. So by doing something every day for your wrestling, it gives you success that leads to more success. You're breaking up the weight loss into something very user-friendly, right? Maybe as an adult, the example I used. You're breaking up the climbing something, a monster goal like climbing Mount Everest or climbing the mountain in British Columbia at 4 a.m. 1 foot in front of the other. You're just basically chunking this up. But also, you're learning to pull yourself off the couch. So when Marlon Kiken said, do something every day for your wrestling, we're creating a habit of taking action. A habit, and he said this had to be small. And the thing about being small, it's like just walk in the parking lot and the stairs to work on up 3 flights. Or, you know, I'm just gonna get to that part of the Mount Everest. I'm gonna walk, you know, and then I'm gonna plant myself. I'm just gonna do that little bit. So by giving yourself permission to only do a little bit, it's easy to do something every day for your wrestling. It might be listening to a motivational video. It might be listening to, maybe there's a chapter in a book. Maybe you got a great book on sports psychology, and I recommend all of these books, like Tim Grover, Relentless. That's an awesome book. David Goggins, his interviews on, he cusses a lot, so if you're a parent, don't give this to your kid. David Goggins, he's fantastic. Look at his interview on impact theory. It'll change your life, right? So you might say, I listened to it like 20 times, probably 30. But it might just be listening to that. Or just maybe say it's an hour long, I'm only going to listen to 15 minutes of it. Or maybe 10. You did something. And I even have an exercise I tell kids, I'm like, get down and right now and do 10 push-ups. Now get up. Now is that 10 push-ups? That's not going to make a damn bit of difference in your wrestling career. But you see, I want you to evaluate your mind. How do you feel right now after doing those 10 push-ups? Like, dude, I did something for my wrestling. It's like magic, right? He's like, yeah, I did something. I felt good. Plus, you thought about working out, and the couch had a body lock on you, and you didn't think you can get up, and you said, screw it, I'm going to do something. And you rolled off the couch, and you landed on the floor, and you did 10 push-ups. You still got off the couch. See, sure, it takes more, I guess, toughness to get off the couch and to run 6 miles than it does to do 10 lousy push-ups. But who cares? Let's not beat ourselves up. You got off the couch, and it's going to get easier. And like I said, you know, that lady who started her little knocked over the first domino, now she has a little exercise thing. And if she can't do that every time, just do it once a week, you know. And even if you say, well, I'm gonna do it 3 times a week, no, just do it once. Don't even set yourself up for failure. Say, I will make myself do it once. Anything more than that is good. But see, she's still walking every morning and taking the stairs. And as an athlete, you're like, oh, I did 10 push-ups. Tomorrow I'm gonna do 10 more. Then one day you're like, you know what, I kind of feel good. Maybe you're outside hanging out with your buddies, and you're like, I got a hill I go by my house when I was a kid. I have got one right now. I sprint that sometimes. It kills me. Right? You're like, you know what? I'm done hanging out with my buddies. I'm gonna go ahead and sprint this hill real quick. See, you never would have sprinted that hill. But 3 days ago you did 10 push-ups. And the next day you did 10 more. And now you're like, screw it, I'm gonna sprint this hill. Tomorrow you may not sprint the hill. That's fine. But you sprinted it today. But you have basically, you're starting to transform yourself into someone who becomes a man or a person of high achievement. So I would say do something every day for your goals, and only has to be small. It literally is life-changing, and it's helped me so much in my life as far as as an athlete, getting to wrestle at Oklahoma State, earning the #1 ranking in the nation in college my junior year, which we ended up being ineligible, the NCAA death penalty. I earned the #1 ranking again my senior year. Sort of blew it, but was still an All-American. Earned the #1 ranking in the nation in high school my senior year. Long time ago, right? I'm 49 now. It's 2019, so I'm getting older, but built probably the largest wrestling company in America. Started the wrestling academy industry. It was very difficult. I starved for a few years. Now we own a 17,000 square foot training center. All right, our system is trademarked. We have had over 7 Foundation Wrestling, it's called. But you go to purlerwrestling.com to get access to it if you had interest. So I've had a lot of success, right? Sure, not Olympic champ, not Donald Trump, right? But way more success than probably a lot of people. And I think a lot of it comes down to just that, what I learned from Martin a long time ago is just do one thing every day for your wrestling goals, or whatever goals that you have, you know? I remember when I was a kid, when I was younger, my kids were young, I was stressed out, you know, I was like, you know what, I need to spend time with the kids. So it can be something like that, right? Sometimes you feel guilty, you know, 2 days go by and you're like, I have not been a very good dad. So I'm gonna spend the first 30 minutes of the morning playing with the kids. They get bored with you after that. So I even used that little system I learned from Martin Kiken years ago to be a better dad, you know? So there's some good advice, I think. Hopefully it helps. And there's some whys behind it. And I wish everyone a lot of success. And if you had interest in seeing more about what we do, we're at purlerwrestling.com, Purler wrestling.com. And leave a comment, share this. Good luck to everyone.